Sure, sure. It'd be nice to get my dick sucked while I'm taking a shit too. You know what I mean?
Nice to get my dick sucked while I'm doing the show.
That's why you got that smile on your face. All right, Bobby.
That's why I wear the shade so you can't see my eyes rolling back.
Your eyes going crossed. Oh, it's like, Bob, what's up with the chameleon eyes?
So let's talk about the vaccine rollout.
Jesus Christ. Looks like you're reading like Short Circuit.
It hurts a little bit to do. All right. So first showdown. All right, let's do a show. Season 2, baby.
Yeah. Season 2, episode 46. All right, you want to kick us off?
Sure.
You want to kick us off for the new year, 2021?
All right, stop. Let's kick it. Welcome to season 2. We are back, fresh off our recent suspension and ready to go. How you doing, Scott? How you been?
I am doing fantastic. I mean, say what you will about what's going on in the country and the world in general, but I'm a very selfish person and I am fucking jazzed for the show, my friend. Super jazzed. How about yourself?
Me too. I think everything is kind of 21's the year, baby. 21's the year that we start leveling off, get not just 2020 behind us, but get COVID vaccines going out, get kind of back to normal, get our kids back in school, because we all need that.
I'll tell you what,
the show's going to be amazing. We're going to hit 1,000 subscribers this year. We're going to really amp things up. We're turning up the dial on Stiff Truth this year, turning it right the fuck up.
We're getting fired up. That's goddamn right. And you're right, dude. 2020 is kind of like, to me, it's like an STD that you are literally on day 7 of taking your antibiotics. I mean, you can still kind of feel the sting, but it's almost a tickle now. You know what I mean? And it's just getting flushed away with every sinsingle time you urinate.
The bottle of cranberry juice is almost gone.
You're starting to get out there. You're starting to get out there again on the dating sites. You know what I mean?
The gallon of water a day is getting down to half a gallon a day. Things are getting back to normal.
I've got my confidence back. Yeah, absolutely, my friend. Well, shit, man. You know, we've been gone for a little bit. I mean, we don't have to talk about it too much, but did you enjoy your downtime? What'd you get into?
Oh, I thoroughly enjoyed my downtime. So, for those that listen regularly, you'll know that we're pretty consistent and we work pretty hard at our craft and we make sure to produce a quality show every week. So we've been doing that for a long time and we need a break. I needed a break. Probably more so than Scott, but school wrapped up and I really enjoyed my time. School's back in session, and so time's up, motherfucker. but I am ready to go, getting that separation, and then I just can't believe what the fuck all happened while we were gone.
Yeah,
God.
Honestly, Bob, it's almost like we can't take a break because literally, I think I remember us talking about this as we decided to take a well-deserved break for a little while. I remember, I think you said it. You're like, you know what? We maybe we'll do a show next week. And I think this was like the week before Christmas. If anything crazy happens in the world, but I doubt that's going to happen. Interesting. Because well, I can say this. It's been one hell of a start to 2021, right? If anybody had that kind of idea of like, okay, 2020 is over, new year, fresh start, new leaf, everything's going to be different. Not quite. Now, I don't want to be pessimistic or anything like that, but it's been a dandy of a couple of weeks. I think that's putting it nicely, Bob. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And then what's that pukey saying that people say? Like new year, new something, but I forget what it is. Anyway,
new year, new me, new year,
something like that. New year, new me, I don't remember. But either way, I don't know about new year, new me, but hopefully new year, better America. Because damn, The bar is pretty low, so I'm pretty confident that we're going to do better as a republic this year than we did last year. But again, the bar is pretty damn low.
Well, you would like to think, and I don't want to jinx us or anything like that, but yeah, where we're at right now, there's really not much room but going up. I would hope. I
Yeah,
would hope.
if you want the best chance of succeeding, lower people's expectations.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Then
I
it's easy.
I've always said this, even about work. Don't do too well. You know what I mean? Don't do too much. I mean, just kind of stay in that middle of the road area. So, you don't have a spotlight or target on your back, but you're not also being hailed as like some extraordinary kind of fantastic, amazing person, because that is going to really cause people to expect that all the time. And that's stressful, Bob. You don't need that kind of shit. That's a PSA right out of the gate, first one of 2021.
Yeah, I mean, if you really want to impress people, let that first impression be that you're a piece of shit. And
That's an interesting tactic, Bob.
then it's very easy to impress them the next time you see them. They're
Now,
like, wow, that guy really blew my mind. He's not near as the piece of shit that I thought he was.
Now, Bob, I mean, I do appreciate the advice there, but I'm struggling a little bit with what you just said and something else that I've heard before. I don't know how true it is, but first impressions are everything. I don't know, bro.
They are. They just never said the second part of that, right? The first impression should be lackluster because you never get a second chance to give someone a lackluster first impression, right? And that sets you up for success.
Mm-hmm. Bob's like, case in point here. When I met my wife, first thing I did is slapped her in the face with my penis. And we've had a happy 10 years since.
So I met my wife the very first day. We hung out. She wasn't impressed. But the next day when she was picking up puke out of her floor, and I came over and I was bright-eyed and bushy-tailed and ready to go, she really thought that, wow, he's not near as a piece of shit as I thought. Maybe I should give this guy a chance. Well, that's the secret.
I like your strategy, Bob. It's interesting, questionable, but interesting. And hey, it's worked for you. So proof is in the pudding, so to speak, right? So
you know what hasn't worked?
What's that, bud?
The vaccine rollout.
Oh my God. Let me tell you what, bro. And this is something, honestly, this bugs the shit out of me, man, because as we're wrapping up 2020, and you know me, Bob, we'll talk about it in more depth a little bit later in the show. But I gave a lot of credit to the commander in chief, not Trump himself, right? But a lot of credit to his administration. They got to at one point be doing the best for the people. And one of the big things was this Operation Warp Speed, right? Having the vaccine all ready to rock and roll and manufactured, ready to hit the ground. What I thought was a very, very well thought strategy to get it out and into the state's hands and into the arms of people that need it most, and kind of have this really just well thought out systematic approach to get that herd immunity throughout the entire communities. And you know what, God damn it, this is probably one of the most frustrating parts of the new year so far, is not only is this not rolling out very quickly at all, you got people throwing away fucking vaccine right now. You've got people that were promised vaccine doses that they don't have. What the fuck is going on, my friend? Do you know any details on this? Because
so we spent billions of dollars in both of these COVID relief for Operation Warp Speed, to help out with the logistics. Right. And we're talking like the Army Corps of Engineers, the Army Logistics Department, like taking advantage of logistics that are already in place to disseminate mass quantities of products and goods throughout our military for hundreds of thousands of folks, right? Okay, so now we're going to disseminate the vaccine down to the states. Cool. We're going to get, shipping agreements done and handle all this logistics. Boom, we get them to the states. But that's where the federal response ended. So this is what baffles me. Why would you go all that way and then fuck off the last mile of the race? You know what I mean? I don't understand why there's not a federal plan to come in with, National Guard medics or whoever to assist in rolling out this vaccine and pushing it as hard as the supply lets us, right? So why are we waiting around at the state level then? And then the response from the administration is, well, we got the vaccines out. Sort of. You got the vaccines mostly out, but there's a whole process left. And at negative 70 degrees Celsius in transport, a very complicated process is the last half mile or last mile of that distribution to actually get these shots into people's arms. And I don't understand why you'd put all that money in there and then not follow through till the end, right? These vaccines should be gone. Like they should be out, like with a date of when we're going to run out, and us waiting on Pfizer and what's that, Moderna,
Yeah.
to give us more. But here we are. We haven't even gotten rid of the ones that we've had yet, and they've had them for over a month.
And when Bob says get rid of them, he doesn't mean throw them in the trash like some people are having to do too, which I think is kind of shitty. I mean, here, let me offer up maybe an analogy here of what I think about this. I kind of think about this like you were just talking about the government to the states. It's kind of like a relay race, you know what I mean? Like track and field, and they're passing the government's running. They're doing a cranking job. I mean, they're just fucking flying, right? And they're about to pass the baton, but instead of passing it to the next guy, they literally shove the baton right up his ass. We could have that one, right? And say, here, you go fuck off and win the race now. Or maybe this is even better. He's running. He's kicking ass, dude. Everybody's cheering. The 80s girlfriend's over there starting the slow clap in the side. You know what I mean? Just going to town. And then the guy's reaching back for the baton. He's reaching back, and then fucking Trump just fucking chucks it in the woods about 100 yards away.
Or simply drops it on the ground right there.
Yeah.
Like,
and then walks
as far
away.
as I'm willing to take it.
And then puts his hands up like, well, you know, I ran the whole way. So why didn't you?
I got the baton to the guy. Well, did you hand it off to him? Well, I got the baton to the guy. Right. But he was already running.
Yeah.
And you dropped it back where he started to run. Like there wasn't a clean exchange there. And that's a good analogy.
Mm-hmm.
You would think that, all right, hypothetical, that we love hypotheticals.
Oh, we're doing hypotheticals now. This is not literal. This is not serious.
So do you think that not getting reelected fucking played a large part in the give a shit meter when it came to the process, since this happened right after?
Well, I'm just going to go ahead and get right into it too by answering this. I'm going to give it a little bit of a roundabout. Old Scott from about 3-4 weeks ago would have said, no, that's probably not the case. Again, giving credit where I think credit is due. But now I think so. If you've seen how this man, not his administration, I'm separating his administration from him now. I literally think there's a big difference, and even his base, but I literally think that everything that has happened in the past few weeks, maybe even a little bit more, has been purposely half-assed, maybe even neglected, maybe even sabotaged to a certain degree. And that's fucking super unfortunate, because it's a self-centered, self-righteous, fucking silver spoon piece of shit that is now throwing a fucking hissy fit. And who's paying the price? The American people and the country, democracy in general. So yes, I have to answer that and say, I do think this is done, if not purposely, it's done in anger and frustration about him losing.
Well, just kind of want to follow up on that. What do you think the moderate Republicans that reluctantly voted for Trump, just to get a Republican in office to work with McConnell and get legislation through, how do you think those moderate Republicans, which we know are a lot of Republicans, how do you think those guys and those people feel about rolling the dice with this guy, and he's an outsider, and he's gonna really fucking change some things, and then he just he did his thing, but when it came time to be a president, and that was what the coronavirus was, right? This is a crisis time. Stand up, be the man, right? Here's your opportunity. We talked about it last season. There's an opportunity to be fucking remembered and be great and leave this incredible legacy.
Exactly.
And he just shit the bed. Like, what? What do you think those people think?
Honestly, double-crossed, let down, silly, foolish, wool over the eyes. You know what I mean? There's probably a lot of different words they could say that these guys should be feeling. But I'll use another analogy, Bob. I'm feeling analogies today. I feel a lot of the moderate Republicans that were, again, like me in the sense Well, please don't take that out of context. I'm not a moderate Republican, but again, wanted to give this guy some credit. He was an outsider, shake up the game, drain the swamp, all this fucking bullshit, dude. There are a lot right now, like Dan Schneider, the owner of the Washington football team, when he drafted both RG3 and or Dwayne Haskins, and they saw what happened. You know what I mean? That's the kind of feeling that these guys probably have right now. Now, I say that, and I don't think there's that many of them that really are opening their eyes, which is sad. You know what I mean? I thought there would be a hell of a lot more Republicans that had a sound moral compass and just real human people that would have came out against Trump now, voted for impeachment. There was some, but there's not nearly the numbers that I thought should have been there, which I think is very, very sad.
So, kind of going along the impeachment lines and kind of talking about the Republican Party, you see it much more prevalent right now with many Republicans, many mainstream Republicans are scrambling right now to separate from Trump and try to save some sort of credibility going forward. Mitch McConnell, Lindsey Graham are two notable ones that all of a sudden won't touch Trump with a 10-foot pole, right?
Who's the McCain too? She's like the number 3 in the GOP. Is it? I can't remember. Anyways, there's a few of them out there that are going against the grain, but I'm sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you. Please, you are right in the middle. It's like you were masturbating, and I literally just kept, hey, Bob, come look at this comic book I got.
Does that comic book have superhero women? I gotta finish off. So, you could see the Trump train is heading out of DC, right? And many of the Republicans, the GOP are trying to step off that train before it leaves, and rightfully so. I get it.
100%.
I get it. I look at this and I think, McConnell, I understand what you said. So after January 6th. So if many people want to know what's happened in the last month, unless you're a fucking idiot, you know that January 6th happened, and protest turned into unruly protest, turned into riot, turned into a police officer getting beat to death by Blue Lives Matter people. All kinds of shit went down on the 6th, and if you need to know what happened, you should probably then, I don't know, pay attention to life.
Honestly, Bob,
biggest thing to hit our country in 200 years.
I like how you church it up here, because I'll just go ahead and call it an assault, a personal assault on the fabric of America, on democracy, an insurrection to, what we stand for. It was disgusting. It was literally disgusting. But please, again, I don't mean to interrupt. Go right ahead, Bob. You're on a roll.
Yeah. So after that, then McConnell says, this cannot stand. In fact, this cannot stand. This cannot stand. This all started. So we're all like, most of us are watching this happen live for the whole day. I know at work, like, my emails completely stopped after like noon because shit was hitting the fan in DC. Right. So most of us are watching this. The Senate gets rushed out. The House gets rushed out. Capitol Police finally get everything done, and they reconvene about 8 p.m. Our time. So about 10 o'clock, 9 or 10 o'clock Eastern, right? They're back in the chambers. They're back in their thing. And the very first person to speak was Mike Pence. So to preface this a little bit, there were pro-Trumpers outside of the Senate chambers chanting, "Hang Mike Pence."
Now, I just got to interrupt real quick here. Talk about turning on the guy, man. You know what I mean? Jesus fucking Christ. And this, to me, again, we'll talk about it more. We talked about it offline and over the past couple of weeks, but this is where it gets really, really dangerous and really scary to me, is now you have a faction of people that are by default, right? Republicans, unfortunately. So they kind of represent now the entire Republican Party, unfortunately, in some people's eyes, but they are putting the man above the party, and they are putting the man above the country. Very, very dangerous.
Right. And with Mike Pence, so in case there's anyone out here that are like, you guys got awfully liberal in between season 1 and 2. So this is how civics works, right? So when the states all vote and the states can vote however the fuck they want. The Constitution gave the power of the vote to the states. They separated that from the Supreme Court. They separated that from the executive and legislative branches, and they
Sure.
left it up to the state and their governors and legislative branches to figure out how they vote. That's why there's idiosyncrasies from state to state. They all do it a little bit differently, right? But they're rightfully able to do it their own way. So when they certify their vote and they give it to the Senate's job is to simply report those numbers and count the votes. They do not have any constitutional precedent to deny any state their legally righted votes. It would go to the Supreme Court and get thrown out. And every single senator, almost all of them are lawyers by trade and have a law degree, but every single senator knows this. They know that they have no power. And Hawley and Cruz were playing to Trump's base, who probably didn't understand the legal procedures of all of this, to act like there was a chance. Why? Trump's on his way out. Hawley wants to run for president in 2024, and so does Cruz, and they want the fucking base numbers. That's the only reason they were doing that. They didn't care for any other reason. In fact, so much that they didn't care if it was even fucking dangerous. No. Physically to people in the upcoming moments, right? And so that's why what they did was despicable. Because and then Pence, like the whole like hang Pence, all Pence does is turn in the damn votes. He turns in the numbers that were verified by the Senate. He turns them in, and they're done. The vice president has no legal opportunity to change anything. So by President Trump asking Pence, just change it once they submit it. You can control that. No, he can't.
It's kind of like how Trump called, who did he call the attorney general in Georgia and say fine votes for him, just fine them or something like that? Wasn't that like the verbatim kind of
that
phrase?
Was it, or it could mean legal trouble for you. He then ousted.
So then a threat after that came.
Yeah,
with it.
Then he then installed a new federal prosecutor in Georgia the next day, following through on that threat.
Honestly, and here's the thing, dude. Here's the thing that and we talked about this too. What happened on the 6th, it's going to go down in history as one of the biggest black marks in our recent history, for sure, right? I mean, nobody stormed the Capitol since the War of 1812. I mean, that's a long time. For anybody out there that doesn't do math, I'm no Andrew Yang, but you know how it goes. Boom! Come on, get it in there.
That's right.
But the other thing that and it was eye-opening for me. I always am the type of person here that I got to look for some kind of learning, some kind of takeaway, some kind of silver lining to this. And what you just mentioned here, Hawley and Cruz, right? Those guys did reveal, if we didn't already know it beforehand, their true colors, right? Because what they just did was so goddamn self-centered that they put the country and the American people to the side while they advanced and went after their selfish goals, political goals, right? So kind of just playing games with the Senate and the body of Congress and the American people to get what they want. Beyond that, though, Mike Pence, not only is he very open-minded with his alternative lifestyle, and he's a great dancer, but we've talked about it before. He seemed more even-keeled. He seemed like a better fit for president than Trump, and everybody knows he should have been the president now moving forward in 2016. And I'm just going to go ahead and say that because he's actually a stand-up guy. He's still a Republican. He's still a religious guy. I don't agree with him all the way, but like you and I have talked about before, I'm not going to hold that shit against him if that's what he believes in, and he's a genuine person. I actually think Mike Pence is a genuine guy, even though I don't believe in what he does wholeheartedly. So there's that too. The other thing, though, that I do like about this is there wasn't as many that I wanted. There wasn't as much of a, I guess, flip from the Trump support to just being an American, being a patriot. But there was a big awakening, so to speak, in Congress in general when this happened. And a lot of people on both sides of the aisle, Republicans and Democrats, moderates, independents, they did come together, unify, even if it was just for a couple of seconds or whatever. And they did show that when shit does hit the fan, we can come together and actually get shit done. So there's that too. So I think there's a silver lining there. I think there's a big takeaway that it's not all doom and gloom. You know what I mean? It was horrible, but at the end of the day, at least we know that underneath a lot of this shit, the facade of everybody hating each other and spitting fire at each other, and oh man, the Republicans and Democrats are never going to get along. When shit got real, they got real too, on a whole, which was good to see. Now, again, there was a lot of people that showed themselves for their disgusting true nature. And that's good too, because now we know. Now we fucking know, right? Ted Cruz, Holly, couple other people, get the fuck out of here. That's all I got to say. So that's good because now we kind of know where people stand. You know what I mean?
Well, and it's like I told my wife, just over the last year when Trump's just failing like one month after the next to be better, right? And while all this is going on, instead of caring and trying, he's fucking golfing 3 days a week, like
You
like
know
not
what
even
sucks too?
trying.
I hear he's not even that good at golf either. You know?
No, I mean he
Why?
doesn't look at like it from his swing,
No,
but
no, it doesn't.
so and I had said something too several months back, and I said, Trump might be the best thing that ever happens to America because Trump's presidency is going to show us a bunch of weak points in our democracy,
100%.
in our voting processes, in our partisan politics, in our media, in our social media. Like,
Mhm.
and so this is going to lead to a lot of things being addressed.
Mhm.
That Section 230 that Trump hates so much, where Twitter can just uh, not have to be not have to be responsible for liable, and also not be responsible as a news party, and also not be responsible for whatever people say on their side and everything. Like he hates that because he wants to be able to sue them, right? That's why he hates it.
Sure.
Funny story about that though. Joe Biden also doesn't like Section 230 anymore. It's dated. It's 25 years old. It's time to revisit how social media sites are addressed from an accountability standpoint. So there's probably going to be something that comes out of this Trump presidency with social media and accountability and responsibility for what people say. And you've
All
already
good
kind of
things.
seen the precursor to that
Yeah.
because Twitter is now getting rid of it. QAnon accounts gone. Parler fucking gone. Parler's just gone. I mean, but then anything to do with any sort of domestic terrorist perception or anything happening on Facebook, anti-American or at least anti-democratic, as far as the Democratic Party, anti-democratic with hate speech is getting removed from Facebook, and I've seen several groups already get removed. So,
Sure.
and they're doing that because the storms are coming from Congress. It's coming. So there's going to be shit addressed from this, but there's
It's
also
kind of
going to
like,
be.
can
Go
I
ahead.
throw something there real quick? Just another quick analogy, if you don't mind. I'm really having fun with this. But it's kind of like when you say the storms are coming too, it's kind of like the country just ate a big, nasty disaster burrito. You know what I mean? With
Oh, I
green and
do.
red chili. Yeah, like a breakfast burrito. And not only that, the country did a lot of heavy drinking the night before. So it's about an hour and a half after they just downed the last part of the burrito, washed it down with a nice Coca-Cola or whatever. Right. Hair of the dog got right back in there. And then you start to feel that you literally and politely just kind of shimmied your way to the bathroom and moved everybody out of the way. And now here's where we're at. Sorry, I just wanted to interject with that quick analogy.
I just want to say that there was some really hot serrano and green chili in that burrito, so it's also going to burn when it comes out.
It was actually their limited edition habanero style.
Oh,
So
nice.
yeah, we're really
There we
getting in
go.
there right now. So good for you. All right, sorry. Go ahead. You were on a roll again. You were on a roll.
So I think that, like I said, Trump might be the best thing that ever happens because it's going to expose a lot of problems that we have. It's going to bring things to the front. On the other side of that, you're seeing Republicans bail on the ship, right? I don't want to use the analogy of rats leaving the sinking ship because I don't think Republicans are rats, but they are bailing on the Trump ship.
You kind of just planted that seed, Bob, just so you know what you did there kind of subconsciously. But anyways, go right ahead. You're doing great.
Goddamn asshole. Fucking liberal asshole. So, but you can see the Republicans bailing on the Trump train right now.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of that, at least especially from the leaders like Mitch McConnell, is trying to save the party.
Yeah, no, I agree 100%.
If those 20% or so, 20-30% of the Republican Party, which is Trump's hardcore base, like QAnoners and all, right? If those guys like stop voting Republican, then the Republicans are doomed. Like they'll be gone at some point because the Democrats take over. And we all know that that's what'll happen, which, to be honest, is not good.
No, it's not. I'm glad you said that because I was going to jump in and say that too.
Yeah,
so,
it's not good for one ideology to take over the country, whether it's left or right or middle. It doesn't matter.
We
You
need
need
difference
that.
of opinion. Yeah, we need difference of opinions, dude. We
We
need
need that balance. Yeah,
Mhm,
we
mhm.
gotta have. You gotta have someone keeping you honest,
Yeah.
right? You do. I mean, we play golf with more than one person so that your scorecard's correct.
Well, I normally I play by myself, but that's just how I do everything in life. You know what I mean? Huh?
What'd you shoot today? I shot a 32. Isn't par like 70? Yeah, I
Fuck
played
yourself.
18. I shot a 30. It's just like, oh, okay. Did you play with anyone to verify that? No, I was by myself, but I can trust me. It's
Yeah.
okay.
I'm a good guy. I'm a stand-up guy.
I'm a good guy. So yeah, we need that. So this could be really rocky moving forward. But I really don't know what's going to happen with the GOP. I do know that there's a huge split in the GOP right now, and it's the fissure is getting bigger and bigger as Trump's going out of office. I did see some crazy shit the other day. You know the pillow guy, the My Pillow guy?
Oh, Mike Lindell. Of
Yes,
course.
Mike Lindell. So he went to go see Trump like 2 days ago, right? Sorry,
This poor guy.
President Trump.
Yeah, fuck him now. You know what? We're gonna dump trunk. Let's go. Let's go.
Dump Trump.
Get the fuck out of here.
He's got policies like what? Thighs like what? Oh, not long.
Let me see that.
Eating Big Macs. so he's going into the Oval Office, right?
Hold
And
on.
as he's
One more stop here. One more hard stop, just because I think this is the funniest name for the book. Have you seen the name of this guy's book, Mike Lindell, From Crackhead to CEO? Who the fuck got in his corner and said, yeah, that's a good name for your book, bro. Let's go with From Crackhead to CEO.
That just instills credibility to me. This guy is started from the bottom. Now he's here. This is it.
So like, seriously, what does that mean? When you buy the book, does he steal it from you? Go ahead. Sorry.
So Mike Lindell, right? Mike Lindell.
Yeah.
Right,
Mike
so
Lindell.
he goes to see Trump. You know, they're chummy. He's a donor and helps out or whatever. But he goes and then he comes out holding some papers. Now, that $5,000 photographer, high frame rate camera zoomed in on those papers, and they were papers about the Insurrection Act and martial law.
Really?
No shit. So
my.
Presumably, their conversation was about martial law and the putting forth the Insurrection Act to take control of the government instead of Biden taking office. Presumably, I don't want to throw it out there because I wasn't there. No. But what else would you be talking about?
I don't know. I'm struggling with this. I would figure if Mike is there, they would be talking about Trump not being able to get a lot of sleep and how he needs one of those body pillow, My Pillows or something like that, or how about his amazing Giza sheets made with like 100% Egyptian cotton could really help out. That's what I see kind of logically happening. He
doesn't need a lot of sleep between the meth and microdosing the shrooms.
I guess there's that too. Interesting.
His designer meth.
That's interesting. I don't know. I don't know what Mike was doing there. That's pretty strange if you ask me, but he's got money.
Weird.
We do know that he has money, and we do know he's an avid Trump supporter, probably because he's still smoking crack. I don't know.
Now, hopefully that's just, ill attempts, because Trump came out a few days back and said, I will have a smooth transition and peaceful transition of power. And I'm like, well, you kind of already didn't.
You kind of fucked that up.
The transition period's over now,
Jesus
but
Christ,
I appreciate the kind of parting words there to make everyone feel better.
This guy's so fucking delusional. It's ridiculous, dude. After literally, and again, always tried to give this guy some credit, but literally, and you watch the speech, right? You watch Donnie Jr., you watch Giuliani. They're using wartime rhetoric in that fucking rally, like literal wartime rhetoric, where there's a lot of things that were said by those three individuals where I had to take a stop and be like, what are you fucking insinuating, dude? You know what I mean? That we're not going down quietly, that, that we got to keep fighting until the end. And but that's the light, airy stuff that they said too. It's crazy. It blows my mind that went down like that. And to say that was part of his peaceful transition, to have a rally where he's literally bitter, horribly bitter and resentful and vengeful, that's not peaceful, dude. That's the opposite of which.
Picture this.
Okay.
right? So we already know that the hardcore Trumpers in the Republican Party don't exactly see eye to eye on everything, right? But
This is true.
picture this: January 6th at that rally. Instead, he says, I wanted to bring everyone here to let you know that our movement will go on.
Yeah.
But this fight is over.
For
Joe
now.
Biden
Yeah.
is a good man. I've met
Yeah.
him a long time. He's been very serviceable for this country in public service for a long time, and he's going to do what's right and what he believes is right for the betterment of our country. And
Oh,
we will be back to fight again. The movement will live on. We will run again,
yes.
and
And
it would have been a completely different day.
he could have, yeah, he could have taken it a step further too, and just pointed out what's obvious to most people is that, look, we threw a lot of blows at each other. It was vicious, it was ugly, but it's politics, and that is over now. We have lost. It is time to get behind the new president elect and help him repair and make this country better and continue the vision for democracy, whatever, right? He could have kept going with, hey guys, love you all, but let's put this baby to bed and let's realize what's going on in reality
Right.
and move forward. But no, he did the opposite of that. So all these people that are backing up Trump still, and again, these are the people that I have a hard time looking at in the face with not getting like vomit in the back of my throat right now. I'll be honest with you, dude. I went from literally, as you know, anybody here too knows, if you re-listen to last season, please do, by the way. But if you re-listen to last season, there, I guess you could probably say that it almost sounds like I'm supporting and advocating for a lot of things Trump is doing in the White House, right?
You were very hopeful.
Very hopeful.
We
Very
were
hopeful.
both hopeful.
Yeah, yeah. But the gloves are fucking off, man. This guy has zero credibility with me now. And now anybody that's still backing this dude up is joining him at the table, the kiddie table, that tiny little desk.
Well, and I've actually heard it a couple of times. Had a conversation even with some of my own family at this point about why if Trump supporters go, or Republicans, or even white people go and have a protest and it gets violent, it's condemned. But all summer long, we saw BLM burning the streets, and it's like, well, stop. They're fighting for social change due to 400 years of oppression and slavery and unequal treatment, and they're fucking mad as hell, quote, and they're not going to take it anymore. Okay,
yeah, sure.
There's also a huge difference in a social issue and protesting, and a protest turning violent and a Target burning down, than marching on the fucking Capitol that's full of all of the U.S. Congress on the day of certifying the next president, and storming in with zip ties, a noose, and weapons and Molotov cocktails. That is a huge fucking difference than burning down a Target as an attempt at social change or whatever. Now, I'm not saying that either one is good, but I am saying that one is arson and felonies of whatever, but the other is fucking treason against our democratic republic. Huge difference in my mind.
Huge difference. And I'm going to jump in and say this again, just so people can understand exactly where I'm at here, and where a lot of people are probably listening, and maybe, our contrary people are screaming right now, that's not the same thing. And they want to start, smearing Black Lives Matter and what happened there. There is, and there was a faction of people during the riots in the summertime that were not Black Lives Matter, not Antifa, whatever it is. There was literally a small faction of people, unfortunately, that were anarchists. You know what I mean? That were there to cause trouble, that were there to make the protests look worse than they were. That's not all of them. And I have to say, on the flip side too, there was probably a lot of good-hearted people that went to the Trump rally, the rally, mind you, not the Capitol, right? That
or
were
even
there.
the Capitol, just to protest.
Yeah. And they were there for a genuine, legitimate reason, that good-hearted reason. And it's unfortunate, again, that there still was a doable, sizable faction that made enough noise that were, again, there to destroy, wreck, and blemish, right? And that's unfortunate. And it was on both sides of the aisle, but you're absolutely right. The entire purpose and the outcome were entirely different, if you ask me. So I have to point that out, because I know people are going to dice things up a little bit.
And on that note, and you hear all the false flag shit, right? You heard it from the BLM protest over the summer about, well, there was actually like white supremacists out there false flagging and starting shit, and here you've already heard it. Well, it was actually Antifa that was there false flagging and starting shit. Now, That's mostly bullshit. I say mostly because
There's a couple.
if
Sure.
you've ever met an anarchist, a true fucking anarchist that just wants to watch the country burn, um they don't care about the cause. They just want to attend the event for the opportunity
They're
to
opportunistic.
further aid their
Absolutely.
anarchist agenda. And it doesn't matter if it's right or left or BLM or KKK. It doesn't matter to an anarchist. They don't really care. As long as there's an opportunity there that presents itself for them to move forward and create as much anarchy as possible with the hopes of starting a forced fire that can't be controlled and turning America's democracy to shit and, going back to in Mad Max type shit, right? That's the anarchist dream. They
Mm-hmm.
want the power to be where the power is, and the power survives, and that's it. That's how anarchists go. There is no law.
Sure.
There's only
Sure.
respect for power. And so there is something to be said for the false flag. I would not say that it's BLM or if it's QAnon, or I would not label it like that, because I'm sure there's plenty of people that are just hardcore anarchists that don't give a fuck.
And they come out of the woodwork when they see the opportunity, like you're saying, they're very opportunistic, dude. So when they see the unrest, when they see a window for them to jump in and really make some noise, so to speak, they're always going to be there, dude. So it doesn't matter what it's about, man. We could be on Wall Street protesting big business. There will be fucking some anarchists there just because, again, an opportunity is presenting itself. And I do have to say something, too, just to kind of break this little kind of stiff conversation that we're having here.
Very stiff.
Every time you say BLM, and I've heard it on the news too, my mind always thinks BM, and I think bowel movement. It's really interesting. I can't help myself, dude. I don't know what's going on, but every time you say it, and I've heard it on the news, it's a horrible acronym. They got to change it up, dude.
I always think of IBS and like Thai food. I don't know.
Girl, so I had a great BM this morning. It was great. It made me smile. Kind of tickled. No, I jest a little bit here. I wanted to kind of break the tension a little bit, but you're absolutely right, dude. And again, January 6th, horrible. But I think, like you said, I'm going to get in here again with another analogy. I think Trump, not only the good thing, it's kind of like a good thing for the country, best thing for the country, like you had mentioned, but I kind of equate it to like Trump being anti venom, right? So how they treat people that have been bit by a very poisonous snake. You know how they make anti venom, right?
Yeah, you have to get that snake first.
Yeah, and you have to use the venom, right?
Right.
It's almost how some old school vaccines work too, right? They use the virus to fight the virus. So very similar in the sense that I see that's how Trump's little experiment, his little 4-year experiment was good for the country. But again, he was definitely definitely the problem. And I didn't want to say that for the longest time. Like you had mentioned too, I wanted to be very hopeful. I thought, again, the economy was doing great, regardless of how we got it there, all that stuff. But I'll say it again. The gloves are completely off here. He has exposed himself as the uttermost piece of shit. I will go ahead and say, even though I know people will disagree, again, I don't like you if you disagree at this point. This is the biggest shit show, horrible excuse for a presidential run that I've ever seen in history. I don't think anybody did it worse. So congratulations, Trumps. You have another record in my book. Good for you.
Silver lining. He really did have the economy fucking humming before the coronavirus hit, but everything else is falling apart.
Well, here's the other thing too. Never want to wish that the coronavirus happened or anything like that. That would be ridiculously stupid. But I do have to say, it's kind of like there has to be some kind of silver lining and some kind of purpose for where we're at right now. And I always think things happen for a reason. Think about this, if the virus doesn't happen in 2020, with the economy where it was in its trajectory, I think we're looking at another 4 years of Trump. Easy.
I do too. I 100%
Easy.
agree.
Yeah.
In fact, and a lot of it's because of those moderate Republicans that would have just voted him again because fuck Joe Biden, right?
And people like me, like, well, you know what? A lot of people say, he's very vulgar. He doesn't have a fucking filter. He's kind of stupid. He's not professional, but the economy's doing great. You know what I mean? There's people that
I
really
like
are
my
focused on that.
401k growing like that, and my stocks are doing well. But I'm going to dip in on your analogy. I'm just going to get it, right? So Trump's like that stray cat. So that stray cat's fine. And you never know how bad shit crazy that stray cat is until you corner him. right? And
Mm-hmm.
Trump got cornered, and then we got to see like how he reacts to uh a situation that personally affects him gravely. You know what I mean? And then you see like that unevenness that Hillary spoke about in 2016 when they were running against each other. Is he's not fit for president, yada, yada, yada. And we kind of got to see, because for the first 3 years everything was going well. Like we didn't have to. There was no crisis to worry about. There was no like existential, issues for him to have to deal with as president. It was just, oh well, we'll fuck with North Korea a little bit. We'll, we'll play games with Russia and China, and we'll just grow the economy. It's cool. But then all of a sudden, the coronavirus hit, and there is something about those like hardcore right wingers that say, the Democrats made the coronavirus, even though I don't think China has any Democrats. But and that the coronavirus is was created to get Trump out of office. All right. Well, no, I don't think it was created to get him out of office, but it definitely exposed why he shouldn't be in office.
Yeah. I think again, wanting to give the guy some credit as the president, not as a person, but that's where I was there. I do believe that it not only exposed his weaknesses, right, but also his motives. And that was the big thing too, right? Because there was a lot of people always saying was like, you know what, he really just cares about the American people. He really just wants the America back from the 1980s, economy wise. You know what I mean? We want this thing current. We want it booming. We want to be independent. We want to be proud to be Americans. All this great stuff. But when push comes to shove, and when shit does hit the proverbial fan, Trump looks like a little kid, like throwing his spoons around, pissed off because you took his Lucky Charms away. You know what I mean? Not very cool.
Could you imagine Donald Trump on like his next job interview? So, Mr. Trump, what would you say your biggest weaknesses are? I don't have any weaknesses. Well, it says here that you incited a riot at the Capitol and tried to overthrow the election results.
That was fake news.
He's like, so I might have an ego problem. I lie about my golf score.
Oh my
man.
God!
I don't know about you, but I want to drink.
You had me at I don't know about you.
I knew what was coming.
I did. We've done this a few times, Bob. Let's go get ourselves a cocktail. What do you say?
Sounds good.
All right.
Cheers, Scotty.
Oh, cheers all the way. Cheers to your tits.
Cheers for fears.
Oh, it's a great band.
Cheers for beers.
Easy cheer. Recline that thing all the way back. Pour yourself a nice little bottle of bubbly.
Well, and I am back.
So, like I was saying, nice little 12-year Glenlivet. Now, what are you having again? Get those fucking shades back on, you goofy bastard. Let's get this going, baby.
I had to take off the hoodie because it's just too warm in my room. So,
well, you're
a little less Unabomber-y, a little bit more fun in the sun, right? But pale.
Sun's out. No, yeah, sun's out, guns out kind of guy over there. I like that. Good stuff.
That's right. Man. I forget the name of this Scotch that I have because it's not one I normally buy. I actually got a gift set from my sister.
Oh, very nice.
Had a 12, a 10, and a 16-year.
And that's a nice gift set. That's nice. Shelly, thank you.
But it's very smooth, very good. It's a shame that I don't know what it's called, but whatever.
Should we get a hold up here? I don't think we got one for the thumbnails, bud.
Oh, my 2 finger is now a 1 finger.
Yeah. We love that. Good shit. Bob, we should get into it for the Stiffies here. I think we really should. I think you should tell the Stiffies what is going on right now in your life that's so goddamn exciting. Because it is. It really is, bro. You want to lay it on?
Sure. I'll lay it on real fucking thick.
Why do you have to make it weird? Why do you have to make it weird and awkward all of a sudden?
So I made an offer on a house.
Now, Not only did you make an offer, but what was the the reciprocation to the offer from the seller?
Oh, okay. So they did counter offer,
Oh,
but they countered with basically it was a rearrangement of closing cost
okay,
stuff.
okay,
So nothing really more. They just wanted to put a cap on their closing cost limit, and then anything over that I would cover. So well,
nice.
okay, fine. I said yes because what are we talking about here? A couple $1,000 at most. So whatever.
Couple
So
$1,000 in a reach around. Come on, that's easy.
yeah. Let's get in there. So we have agreed, and I am under contract right now,
Woo!
purchasing my very first home. Everyone, my very first.
That's exciting shit, man. For numerous reasons here on this end of the table. Not only am I your friend for a long period of time here, but this is a goal and a milestone in life that you're ready for. You're beyond ready for. I think it's time. I
Oh
think it's due
man,
time.
I've been working on my credit and working to try to buy a house for more than half a decade. Like we're talking 6-7 years now. It's been a journey. If I had known that buying a house was going to be as rigorous as it was going to, I probably would have been more mindful of my spending habits and bill paying habits
Sure.
throughout my 20s and 30s or early 30s, I guess. So here we are though. So right now we're going through closing, signing a bunch of stuff. I've got an incredible rate that everyone I've told has been super jealous of. So that's fantastic.
Yes.
Uh,
Gotta love
yeah,
that.
I'm excited, man. We went and actually looked at it this morning. We took the whole family over there. We masked up, uh, watched, my toddler do laps around the house and be crazy, which
Mm,
toddlers
mm,
do.
mm, mm, mm,
But
mm.
yeah, we are super excited, man. It's got everything that I want. It's a really amazing house. So
Well, dare I
God willing,
say,
everything goes through and closes.
yes, dare I say, cheers, my friend. Cheers to your tits.
Cheers for beers.
I've said it before, but that's a great band. Yes, love that, Bob. Fantastic stuff, man. Fantastic stuff.
So I'll keep everyone apprised over it. I should know more. I think my closing date's going to be the third week of February. So
That's right around the corner, too, man.
right
Right
now,
around the
tentatively,
corner.
it's scheduled for the 18th.
Love that. Love that.
So we'll see. But yeah, super fucking excited. We're all crazy. It's unbelievable. Um, I don't know. It's unbelievable that someone's willing to give me that much money and trust that I'll give it back. It's unbelievable.
I was joking about it before. You should have done that on the phone when they called you and said, "Hey, you've been approved," or whatever. You're like, "Oh, I can't believe they fell for it." It's just like,
Right?
what did you say, sir? Nothing, nothing.
So they didn't find out. So anyway, yeah, I'm ready. It's
that's fantastic. You're honey, they fell for it. Love that though, man. Fantastic stuff. Well, I'll tell you, we've got scotches here now. That's good.
we do. I
And
might have to like have the other one ran up here. I'll have
you
to
may.
dip into the 10 and try out the 10.
Why not? Get in there.
Well, we'll see.
Let's do it.
I think I have a little bit of homework due today, so let's maybe not scotchy it up too much.
Look, I don't want to be a bad influence, but don't be a pussy, okay? No.
I've gotten my nutrition class done, so then now I'm able to drink scotch, guilt free.
So. Good. See, again, priority, sir. You've got them in line. Adulting. You are adulting, my friend, through and through, 24/7. Stand-up guy. I'm gonna have another drink.
You ought to. I can't believe we haven't had just Scotch rocks throughout the tenure of our show. How strange.
It was very interesting because I did think about that, and I think the reason why we may have confused each other a little bit, because in the infancy of the show, yes, there was a time when Bob and I were just starting this out and kind of fumbling around a little bit. I mean, we're still amazing, but maybe not extra amazing with special sauce like we are now. And I believe that we both got independent drinks. I want to say it's like show 3 or 4 or something like that. I only know this and have a little bit of a recollection because I re-listened to about 25 of our episodes over the past 3 or 4 weeks. But I think I got some scotch and you had some whiskey, and we just left it at that. But it wasn't a joined effort. You know what I mean? It wasn't a collaboration of sorts like we've been doing for a long time at the show. So,
well, and specifically this time we both went 12-year.
we did. And it's a great year. It is. I mean, I always go with the Glen, and I'm not disappointed. I did have a little bit of some kind of picking anxiety, though. I was like, do I go with the Glen Moray? Do I go with the Glen Levitt? Do I go with the Glen Fittich? Do I go with the Glen Grant? And then I decided just to go with the Glen Levitt. Honestly, it's the Costco.
Hairs.
It really is. It was because there was a great deal at Costco for the Glen Levitt. Don't let me get you wrong here, and don't let me lie to anybody. I got to steal the deal on this bad boy. So, again, got to plug it. Hey, 2020 is going to be just like 2021 in the sense that Costco has fantastic value and quality in their liquor department.
Season 2, we still love you. We're still looking for a sponsor. So
yes, we're still humble.
Booze reps out there for Costco. Just know that we're all over that shit.
Oh, my
we will
goodness.
film a show walking down the aisle to buy the booze.
Oh, dude, hands down. I'll get kicked out of Costco having like a crew with me. Why not? It's like, sir, you can't solicit in here like that. You can't do a movie in here.
So I'm just here to buy some more of this. Where did you get that? Oh, I was just testing that one out right there. So you can't drink the booze.
I thought the ones in the glass case right there were free samples. No, that's not how that works.
I thought you guys give samples here. What the fuck? Am I wrong here? I'm an executive member. Don't you know who the fuck I am?
I am an executive member too, which is great.
I also joined those ranks just like 2 weeks ago.
Good for you. No, here's the really cool thing now, and this is how they got me, because I was an executive member years ago, and it was honestly because I had my own business, so I could write off some certain things there. It had whatever. That's neither here nor there. But I went back to the normal one. I think it's like $65 for the regular membership or something like that. It's like $125 for the executive, right? So it was one of those awkward, I don't know if you've ever done this too, but it's one of those awkward times where you go to Costco when you're not checking kind of the expiration date on your membership or whatever, and you go to buy everything, and they stop, they look at your card, something rings up on the computer like this guy's shit's expired or whatever, and then they have somebody from the customer service thing come up to you and basically sell you on the executive membership. And I was like, yeah, dude, that's cool, dude. I used to have one. Not a big deal. I'll just go ahead and stick with the original. He's like, no. You should really go back to the executive membership because, you get all this cash back for your purchases. But he's like, yeah. I know. I did that. It's fine, bro. Like, please just pump your brakes. And then he says, well, unlike before, alcohol is included. And I was like, oh, wait, what?
Fucking soul.
Yeah, I was like, can you get one for me? Get one for my wife. Hell, get one for my daughter. Let's get going here. We're going to rape the system. So I went back to it. They got me back in the fold.
It was time to renew. And it was like, would you like the executive membership? And I click on that and start looking into the executive membership. And then it pulls it up. You would have earned $388 cash back if you had the executive membership. And I'm just like, first off, I shop at Costco too much. That's what that means. But then you're right. I mean, I'm losing money here, and I'm not shalom, dude. I'm not about losing money. I'm just not.
Whoa,
discreet, very discreet.
You know what? I'm not gonna. I'll say no more. Say no more. Move on. Spin that dreidel. Let's go.
So I did join the executive here, and I even thought about business. But I just went with executive for now. Maybe we'll change that up a little bit this year. But yeah, again, I should have went with a 3-finger glass. I fucked it up. I went with 2. Then my lender called, and I got sidetracked. But didn't stop drinking the scotch, of course.
No. Well, you're moving on up in the ranks here. Do you want to go ahead and phone your agent that's in the other room? Tell her to get you a refill.
so I get hit up, and while we're like here trying to do the show today, and it's my lender right? And he's just like, "Hey, I need your purchase agreement." And I'm like, "I don't want to dig through all that and find it and forward it and see which version it is or whatever." I was like, "You know what? I'm just gonna hit up my agent and have her send him the documents." And Scott says, "What the hell's going on over there?"
Did you get some kind of deal for the show that I didn't get a part of here? Are you sidestepping me, man? What's going on here? But then I put two and two together. Yeah, real estate agent.
A little bit different.
I understand. Not
Besides,
talent agent.
I would hope that we'd have the same agent so that they could serve our best interest at the same time.
Yeah, that would make sense. That would
Yeah,
totally make sense. Now, anyways, again, Mazel Tov. Gonna throw that in there too. Another just nice, easy going racial joke that we were gonna let go. But let's switch gears just a little bit here, Bob. Let's switch gears just a little bit here. I think we still have a little bit more talking to do, a little bit more chitter chatter. Do we want to just jump right into the stiff truth here, or did you want to talk a little bit more about Trump's base?
No, I mean we can't give it all away. Besides, I'll feel much more at liberty to speak freely on next week's show.
Okay. Good. I appreciate that.
No, we can jump on into the stiff truth this week.
Should be a quick one, It's a fun one though.
Yeah, so we in light of the last couple of weeks and watching Trump Mania. Oh yeah, baby. We got us thinking about other cult leaders. So we wanted to figure out, kind of who's the stars, who's the stars of the cult leaders, and who's your favorite. And for me, it was a very easy one. So I guess do you want to go first? Because we talked about you going second, and let's let you go first this time.
Okay. Well, yes. First of all, here, Trump is obviously a cult leader, so we both know that's just the horrible truth of it. But yeah, no, and it's funny to even say who's the best, who's your favorite cult leader? It kind of sounds strange, just like who's your favorite serial killer. But mine is almost one and the same, not one and the same like my choice, but who I think is the best cult leader. I'm gonna have to go with good old Chucky Manson, good old Charles Manson, my friend.
That's a good one.
Yeah, I believe not only is he hailed as maybe one of the arguably most infamous serial killers, but he's a serial killer that never actually killed anybody himself, which again comes in the cult leader part. This guy had a group of young women and men that were completely brainwashed and wrapped around his fingers and did whatever he wanted them to the point where they did create the facade and the image of Charles Manson being so epically infamous in the 1960s. So not only that, but I do like that he's a multifaceted, talented man. Have you ever heard of any of his music, by the way? Have you ever heard Charles Manson's music? Yeah or no?
I haven't.
Get in there. It's actually some pretty decent kind of 60s singer-songwriter type stuff. So he's also quite the man with the git fiddle as well, which I got to give him props for that. So I'm going to go with Charles Manson.
Well, when he kind of sits in the middle of your what is that, the Mendel diagram, the little bubble diagram. So he goes in between our cult leaders and our serial killer list. So good for you, getting creative with it.
I thought so. I was pretty proud of myself.
So if the Stiffies out there don't know, let me enlighten you. I was born and raised in Northeast Dallas area, right over there by Lake Ray Hubbard, in a little town called Rockwall. Very uptight little town with a bunch of snooty rich people, but I lived in the poor side, so I didn't get along with a lot of those guys, but I digress. Okay. So either way, kind of a hometown hero for me.
I've never heard him said I've never heard. Okay, anyways, go right ahead.
It's real close to home. We got to stay with our local boys. I like my Pantera, and I like my cult leaders like David Koresh.
Oh yeah, oh yeah. Well, can I say this though? He does have a certain second coming Messiah look to him, so that's always nice too, right?
Yeah, and he had this panache for
Nash. You're my fucking grandfather over here.
and everyone adored him. You know, women wanted to be with him. Men wanted to give their women to be with him. He was a fan of an avid fan of rifles, so he had plenty of those. Some say a little bit too much, but I say that's nonsense. You can never have too much.
You mean women or rifles?
Yes.
Potato, right?
That's what I mean. So, yeah, I mean, the reason like some of that is extraordinary for me is so my father was a teacher, right? Growing up in that little town, and he taught shop, and they were out at like a regional state competition for like motor rebuilds for shop, right? A VICA thing. So they're there like rebuilding headers and, you know, rebuilt engines and whatever, and they're presenting their stuff and they're doing their competition. Well, he was there that weekend that the ATF raided the Branch Davidian compound. And so he was having a hard time finding a hotel. All hell was breaking loose. So naturally we're like, what the hell's going on down there? So we're glued to the TV. And then 25 years later, there's a Netflix series about it that's incredible.
Great.
You need to watch it.
It's fantastic. Stiffies, if you guys haven't seen it, the Waco docu movie series, right? It's like a movie, but it's very well done. Very, very well done. And honestly, you kind of feel bad for the guy. You really do, man. You know what I mean? I'm not going to lie. I mean, yeah, I guess what he did, let me put it this way. Chucky Manson and David Koresh, not even on the same plane with their motivation, right? I really think that Charles Manson was being selfish and being just evil to a certain extent, right? For lack of a better term, where I think Koresh was genuine, dude. I really think delusional or not, and obviously delusional when it really comes down to it. But I think he really thought he was doing God's work. I think he believed wholeheartedly that he was doing the right thing. So
I would say delusional is a little bit too far because it's faith based. So
isn't that always delusional?
Well, so that's the thing with faith and delusion. There is no delusion if it's faith based, because then you're not delusional. You're fucking religious, right? There's a difference there, and I'm not one to put down religious folks, and I'm not saying that religious people are delusional. All I'm saying is that faith is exactly that. It is faith. It is your belief in something that is not based on fact because you believe it for the sake of believing it and have faith in it and for no other reason. And I think he truly did believe that he was a Messiah and he was meant to lead these people and spread his good word and live his life the way that he did. And he had those guns because he did it Texas style. He did it where, don't fuck with me and my belief system, because if you come over here, you're gonna get dealt with, right? That's the Texas style.
Just like I like my boobs and my chili, Texas style, my friend. You know, it's interesting. Faith-based, religious, delusional, the nuance. You know what I mean? It's good.
Very,
it's good
very
stuff.
nuanced.
Very good. Very good.
So yeah, again, all of my, family, many of my friends are super faithful religious folks, and I am not trying to say that you believe in bullshit, and that's not what I'm getting at. That's not all I'm saying is that,
as Bobby covers his tracks,
they're both tied together in the same way, that they're not they're not there based off of fact. They're there based off of faith.
I love that though.
Well, if faith was fact, it wouldn't be called faith. In religion, It would be called fucking history.
Yeah. Well, I jest too. I mean, that's a great point. It is a fantastic point. And I love the choice too, because not only is he a local hometown hero, so to speak. It's kind of funny too. I just have to interrupt myself, which I think is funny. I picture some people in Texas, kind of like you have the big life-size cardboard cutouts of your favorite NASCAR racer and shit like that. That people have actually like some cardboard cutouts of David Koresh in their house. I think that would be really just cute and quaint and very Texas-like. So cheers to you.
Just big old neon signs that says "fuck the ATF, come take them." But yeah, so that's me. That's my favorite cult leader. This one's for you, Davey.
Well, I don't know if I'm gonna have a drink to Charles Manson, but I'm gonna maybe second yours there and say, hey, like we were talking about here, David had a good heart. His heart was in the right place. I'm not sure. Here's one thing that I think is really interesting, though. Can you fucking believe with what he's responsible for? And I'm switching back to Charles Manson. That shit happened in the 1960s. This motherfucker was alive and in prison until 2017, dude. Our tax dollars not hard at work. Do you know what I'm saying? That's fucking ridiculous, man. I cannot believe literally that they kept that guy alive. I think till his death, I would imagine. I mean, I'm not even looking it up right now, but I think he died in prison, right?
Yeah, and you know, I'm really torn on the death penalty, but I'm also torn on $1,000 a day to pay for scum.
Exactly.
I hate that
You
idea.
know,
I don't know what else you could do with these guys. Putting them to death seems a little bit inhumane for most things, but again, paying for them an exorbitant amount of money to pay for them to be alive is also ridiculous. So
is it interesting to think that literally because federal prisoners have this, I think they have this perk, he, that Charles Manson was able to watch the entire series of Entourage.
good for him. Good for him.
Maybe he learned a thing or two about his missteps in the 60s. Like, oh, so that's how you become famous and not get put in prison for the rest of your life.
But he just missed Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. So
he just did. My God.
That'd have been his favorite movie ever.
Oh my, yeah, he really did. He would have liked that. He would have liked that alternate ending. I think he would. He would
have been there like Zed watching the fly and the spider in Pulp Fiction. He'd been back there like, get him. Right.
Well, I'll tell you what, man. So it just, again, to recap, so everybody knows, the stiff truth is that Charles Manson and David Koresh, pretty good guys. Is that what we said?
He seems like a nice guy. Well, I think that's about it. I don't know where we're up on time, but it seems like we're about there.
Well, you know, we're kind of, it's kind of murky because you had to take that call. I don't know where we're at in time either, but that's okay. I can see your computer screen and the reflection of your sunglasses, which has been strange. The whole time we've been talking, I feel like you're in witness protection and you used to be a drug dealer or pimp of some sorts, and you're telling me how life is on the streets. It's been kind of interesting.
My name's B, and welcome to the Stiff Truth.
We'll just call him John Doe. No. Well, yeah, absolutely, guys. This is the start of chapter 2 in the Stiff Truth, and I'm excited to be back. Isn't it fun to be back, Bob? I mean, it's great to have some downtime, but it's been fun to get back together and do our thing again, man. I'm really excited for this year. Super excited.
I'm so jazzed up for season 2. This is going to be incredible. A lot of new things happening in season 2 that we weren't doing in season 1, and we'll let you guys know over the next couple of months, kind of the new things that we're going to be getting into. Vaccines are rolling out. Coronavirus is going to be done soon. Scott and I might do live shows coming in the coming months together on the same camera. Like shit's getting real, and I'm super excited at what season 2 is going to bring.
Dare I say the studio in the new house?
Yes.
Don't want to get ahead of myself here, but that sounds legit. Does sound legit. And you know what? And Bob's right here. Like, season 2, super stoked for 2021 with the show. And I don't want to be too pessimistic about the show that we had today. We talked about a lot of things that have been frustrating, a lot of gripes. And let's face it, guys, we have to tell it like it is. This is the stiff truth. We're not going to come in here out of the gate for 2021 and say, ignore the elephant in the room or the multiple elephants in the room here. Shit's a little fucked up right now, but there is still light at the end of the tunnel, Bob. There's still light at the end of the tunnel. And I say this too, with the variants of the COVID vaccine or the COVID-19 virus that are more help me out here. I've had a Scotch. Contagious. There we go. Thank you for your help. No Thank you for your help. But also, that's all doom and gloom. It's looking bad. We're not getting the vaccine out there. But I just have to think this, being a positive guy, before the end
Scotty
happens.
Sunshine and Rainbows.
This year's changing things up. But before we get better, it's got to get worse. It's just the way it is, right? This is the last hurrah from 2020. Just like Trump, 2020 doesn't feel like it's done yet. It's a little pissed off that 2020 came and now it's here. It doesn't want to let things go. It's got its hooks in, and we just need to fucking just hunker down. And again, we've said it numerous times, but just like prison sex, this is where you bite the pillow, just grit it, just get through it. Just get through it, because there is an end in sight, and we need to get there. It may be a little rough here. He's about to nut. He's going to shake a little bit. He's going to gyrate, but you know what? Soon enough, we're going to have things go back to just beauty.
Get over it, clean up, get your stitches, and let's move on.
Absolutely, man. So guys, let's get pumped up. Let's get fired up. 2021 is going to kick ass. Me and Bob now are going to move on with our lives for the rest of the day. I hope you guys do the same. And I hope you guys are excited to hear our voices again, because we're really excited to hear our own voices. And that's really what's important. Don't lose focus on that, Bob. Take us away, buddy.
Well, I'm going to say, first off, come on, Browns. Let's really change some shit up and get to the Super Bowl. That'd be incredible.
We'll see how well that ages. But yeah, go ahead. Take us away.
Other than that, thank you, everyone. Again, season 2 is here. It's going to be incredible. Thank you for joining us. I look forward to what's coming, as should you. Lots of changes coming. Again, this is The Stiff Truth. I'm Bob West, and I'm here with Scott Casanova. And we're going to give it to you, Steph, every week. See ya.
Yeah.